Now, Speaker of the National Assembly has declined requests by the African Transformation Movement and United Democratic Movement for a parliamentary probe into corruption allegations against President Cyril Ramaphosa. Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula's statement notes that the UDM requested an investigation into alleged conduct of Ramaphosa, including placing him on sabbatical leave. The ATM, on the other hand, requested an establishment of a Section 89 committee for a removal inquiry. Joining us now for reaction is ATM's leader, Vuyo Zungula. Zungula, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and for joining us tonight here on In Focus. The Constitutional Court had to, at some point, direct the National Assembly to come up with the rules for Section 89. You did eventually, around 2018 or so, come up with these rules. Were you convinced that those particular conditions were met at this particular time for a Section 89 committee to be established?
Definitely. I just focus on one where it talks about serious misconduct. It is serious misconduct to have a president that is alleged to have violated, some of these laws that are said to have they've been violated. The issue of having foreign currency, the issue of bribing, the issue of torturing people, the issue of not reporting a crime, the issue of a president that Section 83 of the Constitution states that is not allowed to participate in paid work, yet the same president participates in paid work in violation of Section 83 of the Constitution. For us, we believe that is serious misconduct that requires that an independent committee looks into those transgressions and make the recommendations that President Ramaphosa must be impeached.
Yeah, the nature of the motion itself comes into question here as far as the Speaker saying it's not a substantive motion envisaged in the rules for this particular inquiry to be initiated. What is your response to that?
Tabo, look, the Speaker, you'll check from time to time, members of Parliament, they do have all of the wording in there, but the Speaker will require that it must be in a certain format or in a certain framework so that it meets the rules of Parliament. This is not anything new. That is why by the end of the day tomorrow, we have sent our request in the exact format that the Speaker wants to make sure that we comply with her guidelines. We saw her response not as a rejection, but rather as a guideline to say, submit, but you please utilize this particular framework so that you comply.
So Rule 126 says that the Speaker may disallow notices, or the Speaker may disallow notices of motions which contravene the rules and orders of the House or directives and guidelines approved by the Rules Committee. So you do, in a sense, say you did not follow the appropriate guidelines, and that's what you will do tomorrow?
No. It is not about us following the appropriate guidelines. It is about the Speaker requiring our communication to her to be in a particular framework, to be in a particular structure, to be specific in certain rules of Parliament. So that is what she wants. So it was not a matter of us not doing the right thing. It's a matter of Speaker preferring our communication to be in a certain structure, and that is the structure we're going to submit it in tomorrow.
All right, so rules of notices as well, 124, saying that you must refer to a single substantive matter. So what is your single substantive matter that you will refer to?
Section 83B of the Constitution states that members of the executive cannot undertake any other paid work. That is the one thing that we're going to focus on, because Mr. Ramaphosa said, when addressing the media somewhere, said that he is a farmer, he is selling animals for a living and all of those things. That contradicts what the Constitution is saying when it's saying members of cabinet cannot partake in paid work, because he himself has confirmed to the nation that indeed he's taking part in paid work.
Yeah. Did the president not declare his interest in the farm? He seems to believe that he had declared these interests.
Declaration versus taking part in paid work are two different things, because you can't say the Constitution is clear to say you cannot undertake any paid work. Therefore, if you do so, if you undertake any paid work, it's in violation of the Constitution. Declarations means issues is very broad. It speaks to if someone gives the president a gift, if someone sponsors the president with flights and all of those things. But any paid work, it is something else that requires that committee must focus on and check the business arrangements of the president, of him selling animals versus what the Constitution is saying, and the transgressions in accordance to his own words.
Yeah. So you believe the activities at his farm constitute paid work, and therefore that would have been in violation of the Executive Ethics Code?
Definitely. It is his own words. We're not saying it. It is him who went out to the media and he says, and he did not say, my company does this, my business does that. He says, I, as an individual, I am selling 1, 2, 3, and this is, and to show that he's intricately involved in the running of that company, of those business transactions, he's able to say the money that is said to have been stolen, it is not the money that has been stolen. He knows exactly how much has been stolen, meaning he is actively involved in the running of businesses. Remember again, in 2014, he said he will give the running of all of his business interests to a blind trust, so that you do not have a businessman and a state president at the same time. However, his utterances clearly stated that he's still an active businessman in violation of the commitment he made to the nation. That is why our country is failing, because we've got someone that is prioritizing his own business interests instead of prioritizing their livelihoods, the well-being of the South African citizens. That is why, as the ATM, we believe that he must just go focus on his businesses and not allow himself to make South Africa, the running of South Africa, to be his side hustle. We want someone who's going to prioritize the running of the affairs of our country, not a business. When he has free time, he acts as the president of South Africa.
Appreciate your time, Vuyo Zungula, leader of the ATM there. Of course, giving us their reaction to now the response from the National Assembly.